Oh, good afternoon. It's a quiet afternoon on the farm today, and so we had a fair bit of interest in our traction engine and the video I did with it ploughing recently, and people asking about some more history of it and things like that. And so my grandparents, Rob and Sally, have come up to the shed, and they're going to give you a little bit of insight into our traction engine, how we got it, and how it ended up with us, and all the previous history of it. So here you go, and I hope you enjoy.
Hello, look, today we're going to talk about this very unique steam traction engine, and this is a machine we've been so proud to have owned. My wife and I purchased this machine in August 2013 from a chap who lived on the Murray River at Burrum, and he actually restored this engine back in 1983, but he owned that prior to that, and Hume was a very clever bloke. He actually built the Emmy, which is a steam paddler on the Murray River, for those who have been there and had a ride on it. So this engine has a lot of history. Now, as you can see here, it's got its own serial number, 9977. That's unique to this engine. Also, you can see here, if you can see there, it says under 11 tonnes. And that was on there for a reason. It was there because in England, if the machine weighed over 11 tonnes, they would charge a road tax, which is quite ironic. But I think they must have cheated, because we weighed this engine without water and without wood, and it weighs over 11 tonnes, so about 11.5 empty. So I think they might have taken a few bits and pieces off to get under the weight. And what I'd like to do is just run you through some of the specs here, and I'll just hold it up so you can actually see what the specs are. You can read them yourself. But as you can see, it's a nominal horsepower of 8, but develops up to 60 horsepower. This machine was mainly used for milling timber and pulling logs up to the sawmill. And I believe it might have been used in a bit of road construction at some stage. But what I'd like to do is just introduce my wife over here. She can come over and she'll just give a little bit more history about the machine.
When we purchased this engine and brought it home, which was a very exciting day for all of us, a couple of the local steamies in Armidale told us that we had to name it something. So I thought, oh, okay. And they said it had to be something appropriate. So I looked up the information that we had of John Fowler and his family, and his eldest daughter was Emma. So we thought Emma was pretty good, but it's shortened to Emmy. And then that fitted well, and I didn't realise at the time, but our Emmy helped to launch the paddle steamer Emmy Lou. So we thought it was even more appropriate to call our baby Emmy. So that's who she is. And I just like to fill in a few more things that are more historical than before we bought it. Hume Colville, whom the fellow we purchased it from, he purchased this traction engine from a fellow in Leachville, down south, for $1,200 in the late 70s. And in August 2013, he sold it to enthusiasts in Armidale, Rob and I, for a price that we don't necessarily have to tell anyone. But there's more to the story than just a fellow making a quid. The engine was built in Leeds, England, 1904, and was originally purchased by Deniliquin sawmills before being sold to contractors Harry and George Southern. They used it for clearing land in the district, and at £5 a box tree, they had it paid pretty quickly, said Hume. It was then sold to a Todd Watson in Echuca, before being sold to Bill Caldo of Litchfield. Hume bought it from Bill, and after fixing it up a little, decided it was time to bring it home. So Hume's timing was perfect. Murray Haven was in the process of being built, and the Lions Club decided to get involved. They helped put rubber on the steel wheels so that it could travel down the road. They hooked a couple of trailers behind it and charged for advertising space, and they drove behind me, this is Hume, and kept me supplied with wood and water. We drove from Litchfield to Kahuna, onto Kerrang and across to Koondrook Barham, raising money for the Murray Haven as we went. Jack Gerard even donated $1,000 if he could ride on the engine as it crossed the bridge. There were crowds of people waiting to see it at every town we went through. On arrival in Barham, a special fundraising event was held at the Barham Recreation Reserve, said Hume. I think the Lions Club raised about $4,000 in total.
Look, to add to that, as I think I mentioned before, Hume actually built the Emmy and we are lucky enough to have some photographs. Actually, I'll show you this one first. This is actually when the Emmy was under construction in his workshop, and we've then got the photographs of this engine towing the hull of that vessel down to the Murray River. And the story is, at that stage, there wasn't a tractor big enough in the district that could actually pull it, so they used the traction engine to do that. So we're lucky enough to have those photographs, and obviously when that was launched on the Murray, they then did all the other fitting out of the boat, and while it was launched on the river. And look, we are very proud to own this machine, and along with our grandson Nick, two grandsons, and Angus are sitting over in the trailer over there, and we just want to keep this going as a family thing, and just keep it in the family as long as we can, hopefully forever. Thank you.
Yes.
Rightio, well that's a bit about Emmy, our Fowler traction engine. Hope it was enjoyable. So as we speak, she's getting back into the shed again. Rob, my grandfather's just back in there with the fence. It's a bit of a process. We've got this steering drawbar on it, which is really good for towing it forwards, but it's tricky towing it backwards because it acts a bit like a four-wheel trailer. And so it's kind of the opposite of the way you think. So it takes a little bit of skill and fairly tight spot, so we try and put it right in the back of the shed there to get it out of the way and fit everything else in. But yeah, like always things going on, doing some work to our header front at the moment to replace, you see here, some pretty bad rust in the front. So Rob and Angus, my cousin, have been working on this and putting a new floor in it, yeah, all to get ready for our upcoming harvest. So there'll certainly be some videos of that. Got a beautiful oats crop to get in. So yeah, so there we go. Everything's all packing up, and yeah, so thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.